Tonight on Missing Persons Unit...
What we'd like to do is patrol of the Victoria Plaza, go through the levels that are there.
The case of 66-year-old Nancy Teo, caught on camera 1 minute...
This is our missing person here.
...gone the next.
And then that was our last sighting on CCTV footage.
In a Queensland forest, police divers search for Kerry Mackay.
Grab two, mate. We found some bone.
After 4 years, this dam may hold the secret.
Looks like a vertebrae or something.
You may remember the case of missing dad, Grant Andrews.
They miss their dad, especially the little one.
Well, thanks to your calls, he's been spotted in Queensland.
And they've all come up in Glendon, Nebo, Emerald area.
And the sad disappearance of 13-year-old Dean Duddick.
He's probably staying with friends, he's probably okay, but we can't take that risk with somebody that age.
As we go to air, there are rooms like this all over the nation with people taking Crime Stopper calls. There are 50 men and women in this room alone ready to take your calls tonight. Since Crime Stoppers was launched in the late 80s, Australians have made over 1 million phone calls, which have directly resulted in more than 45,000 arrests. Tens of millions of dollars in drugs and property have also been seized as a result of Crime Stopper calls. And when programs like Missing Persons Unit go to air, we're told by police that the number of those calls can jump by up to 20%. And tonight, your calls just might make a world of difference to one of our families. Here at the Queensland Missing Persons Unit...
Oh, g'day, Darren. How you going?
Detective Senior Sergeant Jim Ryan is investigating the 4-year-old case of Kerry Mackay.
The divers in the dams. I was just wondering when that was going to kick off.
Jim's launching a new search for Kerry after the discovery of her abandoned car 4 years after she vanished.
Her vehicle was located outside Leyburn, which is a great distance from her intended destination of Cunnamulla.
We've got the car organised, so...
It's Jim's first lead since her bizarre disappearance.
Get there as soon as we can, so we'll get on the road.
All right.
And he's hoping Kerry's car will provide the evidence he needs to close the case. Meanwhile, in New South Wales, the search for Nancy Teo is hotting up.
Hi, everyone.
Senior Constable Kelly Schofield has requested assistance from Nancy's local police.
What we'd like to do is patrol of the Victoria Plaza, go through the levels that are there, speak to a couple of the shop assistants and see what they have to say in regards to maybe the last time they saw her.
On last week's program, Kelly began her search for the 66-year-old grandmother.
She's been missing overnight in just the clothes that she was out shopping in. She's got no money, she's got no identification, and her English is fairly limited.
Somehow, Nancy disappeared from the bathroom of a local restaurant.
I took her to the back, thinking that there's no other way out. Right?
But her husband was wrong, and now he blames himself.
Didn't give her any money, no key, no... Thinking that she won't get lost, you know? Yeah. She'd be with me all the time.
Today, Kelly is briefing police who'll search the shopping centre where Nancy vanished.
According to her family, she's quite proud, likes to hide the fact that she has dementia. So initially we thought that she may have been hiding the fact and trying to make her own way home, but we think we're a little bit past that now and we're a bit more concerned in regards to her welfare. It's another cold night.
And at 66 years of age, another night on the streets could prove fatal.
Thanks very much. See you later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back in Queensland, Jim and Claire are following up on the extraordinary discovery of Kerry Mackay's car 4 years after she vanished.
It's really good condition. You know, 4 years out there in the weather, it's unbelievable.
The really only damage to the motor vehicle is the front driver's side tyre there. When we located it, it had a stick stuck in the side of the tyre.
And this type of puncture happens off-road. But why was Kerry driving in the bush? As a schizophrenic, one explanation is that she had a psychotic episode and drove into the scrub by mistake.
The keys were in the ignition, the windows were all down. Basically everything was in there, a purse was in there, all the credit cards, slight amount of money.
But then police made a macabre discovery. The remains of Kerry's 4 parrots still in their cage, still on the back seat.
She was an animal lover, so you would not think she would have left the birds in there to just deteriorate and die if she didn't expect to come back.
No, well, all the windows were obviously left down in the vehicle to keep the birds cool or whatever.
Yeah. And it makes sense that out in the middle of the bush, she'd take the dog with her, even if it was for companionship or just a bit of protection.
Yeah, the dog's probably just followed her anyway.
Yeah.
So, stranded, Kerry and her dog Grizzly broke the #1 rule. They'd left the car looking for help in dense scrub.
How she got through that terrain without virtually even putting a scratch on the car just compounds the mystery a little bit more as to why she would be there.
Meanwhile, in New South Wales, in a search for 66-year-old Nancy Teo, Kelly's interviewing workers at the restaurant where Nancy disappeared.
This lady here, she's missing. She was here yesterday having lunch.
Her toilet. She was in the toilet.
Oh, did you see her there?
She was on that table.
Yeah, at that table there, yeah.
And then she went to the toilet.
Did you see her go to the toilet? Okay, and did you see where she went after the toilet?
I don't think so.
Do you remember what direction, what way did she go afterwards? Did she go back up there or did she go across out the back?
No, she...
No idea.
While the staff do remember her, no one knows what happened to her once she went to the bathroom.
There's only one toilet in here.
Maybe no other doors in the toilet, but if Nancy has become disoriented in this maze of corridors,
Stairwell.
she may have walked up these stairs by mistake and out onto the street.
This leads out to the street as well. Another loading dock down there. So she could have quite easily gone anyway, from where she was.
Back in Queensland, Detective Senior Sergeant Jim Ryan and Senior Constable Claire Gillespie are off to Chinchilla, where Kerry Mackay lived.
We're on our way to see Fred Davis, who was the stepfather of Kerry Mackay, and he saw her the day before she went missing, and hopefully we can establish from Fred what mental state Kerry was in at the time and her intentions of where she intended on travelling. Fred, how are you? Jim Ryan and Claire Gillespie from the Missing Persons. How are you?
How are you going?
How you going, mate?
She came round here the day before she left.
Yeah, the day before she left, yeah.
Yeah. So how was she that day?
She seemed very good because I especially observed, you know, and the blouse was nicely ironed and she was really tidy, you know. She'd been looking after herself and I was really pleased, actually. And, you know, in my own mind, I was really pleased for her, you know. She was going well. Because she was planning to go to Colomulla from here, or from Derby.
Yeah.
And she just never made it.
Apart from her schizophrenia, Fred's biggest fear is Kerry's trusting nature.
She had a heart of gold. And what always worried me about Kerry when she was going anywhere or doing anything, that she'd be easy misled. You know, just always worried about somebody taking advantage of her good nature and that, you know. And when she went missing here, that was one thing that worried me. If, you know, if there was another party involved, and, you know, they'd talk her into anything, you know.
Yeah.
You know, Mum's gone, and Kerry was sort of family, you know, to me, and now it's like I've lost her, so it does leave an empty piece in my life. It does.
Even after 4 long years, it's impossible to let go.
Always hope for something simple that we've all overlooked, and she's got through the net somewhere, and she's going okay. That's what keeps you going, really. And every time the phone rings, you just think Kerry, you know, because she used to ring up so much. And thank you for your valuable time, for coming and spending time with me.
Thank you very much for me.
Thank you, Jim, too.
Thank you
I
very
appreciate
much,
everything
yeah.
you're doing.
Well, from what Fred told us, it appears that Kerry was looking after herself. Her car was in good mechanical condition, and what we suspected in relation to the flat tyre may be the reason she stopped in the area she was. However, why she was there still remains a mystery, which hopefully our investigation will work out in the future.
But until then, Fred continues his daily vigil as he waits for news of his daughter.
Kerry, if you're out there somewhere, we would like to know where you are, because that would put my mind at rest if I knew where you was. And could you please do that, Kerry?
Meanwhile, in Sydney, in the case of dementia sufferer Nancy Teo,
Hi, how are you?
Kelly is checking other shops in the complex where Nancy went missing.
We're just looking for this lady. She's gone missing. Have you seen her at all around? No?
It's similar, my one
She's got a blue
customer.
jacket.
But like, I'm not 100% sure.
Hi, how are you? Good, thank you. We're just making some inquiries in regards to a lady that had lunch here yesterday and she's gone missing. She's wearing like a blue jumper like yours, but dark blue.
She come my shop.
This morning?
Not this morning.
Yesterday morning.
It's another sighting on the day Nancy vanished.
I see her.
If Nancy returned to the shopping centre after she left the bathroom, there's a good chance she's been recorded on surveillance cameras. And that is where Kelly is heading next. Back in Queensland, in the cold case of Kerry Mackay...
OK, so how many divers have you got?
Police are about to search a series of billabongs in the Leyburn State Forest.
The dam where the divers are searching is in close proximity to where Kerry's car was found. And what we're thinking is, after her car broke down, that she went walking. You know, we're just trying to eliminate all possibilities.
But searching in such murky water won't be easy.
We've got approximately 6 metres of water in the deepest location, and they'll conduct a search by tactile means using their hands in the dark. So they'll have no visibility today, so it'll all be done by feel.
Before divers scour the bottom, they'll do a wade search of the shallows. And then, after only 5 minutes, they make a gruesome discovery.
Yeah, just found a bone of some description. Looks like a, I'm not too sure, something like a vertebrae or something. Just going to sift the bottom, put what was around the immediate area in the sifter and just see if we can find anything else.
And that's what they'll keep doing until they've sifted the entire embankment. Meanwhile, in New South Wales...
You've got some information for us from the chase?
Kelly is about to check CCTV footage of the shopping centre where Nancy Teo vanished.
You can see her at 2 p.m. Enter Chatswood Chase. She comes up the escalators. This is our missing person here.
And there's Nancy, captured on camera only 24 hours earlier.
Walks around just a little disorientated, doesn't move far from the top of the escalators here. She then walks back down the escalators and exits Chatswood Chase the same way as she's come in. Once she's out on Victoria Avenue, she stands around looking a little disorientated, and then that was our last sighting on CCTV footage.
But that was 24 hours ago, and for a dementia sufferer like Nancy, 24 hours alone on the streets is a dangerously long time.
It's only just starting getting dark and it's already quite cold. She doesn't know anyone. She'll be quite disorientated, hungry and just wanting somewhere nice and warm to stay. So, yeah, it's going to be another horrible night for her, unfortunately.
Earlier this year, we ran the case of missing New South Wales dad, Grant Andrews.
Hey, Lou, how are you?
After a flood of calls, Steve is now at the mapping department to follow up on all the fresh sightings of Grant.
You've been able to find those towns for me on the map?
Yes, all there, 6 towns.
In the last series, we showed you this home video of Grant, who's a country singer. He vanished from work 4 months ago.
This case is quite a worrying case. His wife's spoken to him around midday and he says everything's OK, he'll be home normal time, doesn't show up.
A check of his bank accounts revealed he bought gear from a local camping store.
So all lightweight type items for general car camping rather than actual hiking.
OK, yep.
Grant phoned home a few days later but refused to say where he was.
That phone number that apparently rang from a phone box up there, they've tracked that down to a place called Nebo.
Nebo is in Queensland, thousands of kilometres from his heartbroken wife Tracy and his daughters.
They miss their dad, especially the little one. She's a bit scared of Dad's ever coming home. You know, he loves you, don't you? Yes. He loves you so much. Okay. You're right.
After our story went to air, callers rang Crime Stoppers with new leads. Today, Steve's at the mapping unit to investigate those sightings.
And they've all come up in this sort of area.
Well, this is an area that's just under 1,200 kilometres across, so it's a large area still.
So at least they're sort of grouped, especially that Glendon, Nebo, Emerald area. Quite a good grouping there.
With the sightings all grouped in the same area, the police net could finally be closing in on Grant Andrews.
I'll contact Tracy to find out if Grant's got any links or relatives in those areas. And also, I know she's just had a birthday. I'll be interested to find out if Grant's made any contact with her.
Meanwhile, in Queensland, divers looking for Kerry Mackay have begun searching the deeper water in the dam near where her car was found.
Yeah, service to Matt, check air and reserve.
For Claire and Jim, it's a long, slow day. Searching this murky dam is like reading by braille. Everything is done by touch.
Reserve lever is in correct position and air supply is approximately 3/4.
And if divers relax, even for a moment, they could miss vital clues.
The search is conducted tactilely with their hands. There's no visibility at all. So they're moving through the water and their only really protection is the suits they're wearing and the perspex on their face.
But after a 4-hour painstaking search...
Yeah, both divers, that's a wrap. 14:20, finished search.
They still only have what they think is one small human bone.
In this instance, we didn't find Kerry in the dam, so it actually assists because they know she's not in there, so they can proceed with other parts of the investigation.
And that'll include searching other nearby water holes.
That's the bone we just got out of there.
And examining the recovered bone.
Thanks, mate. We'll head down to that next dam, mate. Yeah.
If it is a vertebrae and not Kerry's, then whose is it? Back in New South Wales...
Tracy.
Steve.
It's Steve McAllister here from Missing Persons.
Steve is on the phone to Grant Andrews' wife, Tracy.
What have you heard?
What have I heard? Well, I got a message.
Yep.
And Sarah got a phone call.
From Grant?
From Grant.
Oh, good. Where is he?
Don't know.
He won't tell you?
No.
Right.
And he wired me some money.
He sent you some money?
$2,500. Told Sarah he's been mustering.
Mustering?
If Grant is mustering, it makes perfect sense. Calls to Crime Stoppers have placed him right in Queensland's cattle country.
When you say he wired it to you, through which organisation?
Post office.
Through the post office?
He messaged me.
Yep.
Said it was at the post office.
Right, yep.
And the lady said, yes, there is quite a sum of money sitting here.
And she couldn't say where it came from?
He didn't tell me anything like that, no.
Rightio then, Tracy. Let's hope he contacts you again.
Okay, Steve.
Okay, see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. At least he's had some good thought to send money down because we know the family's been struggling. We had an income coming in. Tomorrow we might go up and see Tracy. We might go to the post office up there. I might try and see if I can get some details about what agency this money was wired down from or what area it was wired down from.
Meanwhile, in Queensland, in the hunt for Kerry Mackay, police divers are about to search another group of water holes near where Kerry's car was abandoned.
I think there's 3 smaller watering holes here. They're only about waist deep, and we'll conduct those wades through to the bottom and see if we locate any in this area.
These billabongs are only 600 metres downstream from where Kerry's car was found.
Due to the terrain here, and it's coming quite narrow, so anything coming down the river during times of floods or whatever would collect here. As you can see, the mulch is collected here, so I spend a bit of extra time here. The possibility of any sort of bones or remains or clothing may be collected here.
And while there's still some life here, as tragic as it might be, if they do find Kerry's remains, it will at least bring closure to her grieving family. Back on the case of Grant Andrews, Steve is off to interview his wife, Tracy, who is stricken with arthritis.
Well, the concerns are, like, is he okay? What mental state is he in? Like, health-wise, is he doing okay? Has he let himself run down a bit? Because it's not a normal thing for a father of 3 kids to just take off the way he has.
It's been 4 long months since Tracy has seen her husband. Grant has called, but won't tell her or the kids where he is. Every time someone knocks on the door, Tracy's heart stops.
Hello, Tracy. How are you?
How are you, Steve?
Good. Have a bit of a chat?
Yep.
Thanks. So it was really good getting the message?
Yeah, it was.
Good, it's short and sweet?
Doesn't say much at all.
It's going to be interesting to find out
what he's been
doing.
Yeah.
And why.
And why, yeah.
No new clues from the message. So Steve decides to trace the receipt for the money that Grant transferred to Tracy.
I'd be hoping that they might be able to tell me what post office has actually been the one which initiated it from the other end. Good news that he's made contact with the family, and we're just going to go up to the post office now and try and find out the details of what post office actually sent it down to them.
I think maybe he's got himself in some trouble or something, I don't know. Not that he's a person that's ever been in any trouble or anything like that, but I just don't know. It's very out of Grant's character to just do something like this, so.
Back at the New South Wales Missing Persons Unit, while Kelly keeps searching for Nancy Teo, across the office, her partner Adam has just received a new high-risk case.
Hello, Mrs. Duddick.
Yes, it is.
Hi, it's Adam Marsh. I'm calling from the Police Missing Persons Unit.
Jackie Duddick's 13-year-old son, Dean, has been missing now for 3 days, and she's frantic.
Because I had spoken to a couple of the girls that get on well with Dean at school. They were told that he was going to Blacktown for the day.
Dean left a note for his mum, saying he needed time out and that he was not with his girlfriend.
Miss Jessica, the so-called girlfriend, apparently she's saying that she has not seen Dean.
That's unlikely, you think, or...?
I think that is very unlikely. I would think if you find one, you will find them both.
Well, we'll come out and see you today, if that's okay.
That's fine. I would be grateful for any help you can give me.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
He's hanging around with a group of young kids that may be getting into trouble. They all go to the same school, and they're possibly all truanting. Try and catch up with them and find out what's going on.
Meanwhile, in the New South Wales Hunter Valley, Steve and Joe are at the post office to check on Grant Andrews' bank transfer.
Good afternoon.
G'day, how are you? What we're doing, we're investigating a missing person that we're looking for, and he sent some money to his wife to the post office here from, I take it from another post office, and we're just wondering what area that he sent it from. Would you be able to help us with that?
Have you got a number?
I've got that receipt from post office from where you gave Tracy the money.
Yeah, give me just a few minutes.
OK, then, thank you.
This is Steve's best lead yet. Truth is, it's his last hope.
Yep, I've got where it's come from.
OK, whereabouts? Queensland, I take it?
Mm-hmm.
What town? Is it CLE
Claremont.
Steve has an address.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
His missing person has been hiding out in Claremont, Queensland, exactly where Crime Stopper reports have placed him.
See you later. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, at least now we know the area Grant's getting the money from. We'll go to the mapping unit and see if they can fill in where Claremont in Queensland is, to see if it fills in with the rest of the information we know.
Meanwhile, in the case of missing schoolboy Dean Duddick, Adam is on his way to question his mum, Jackie.
Being only 13 years old, he's probably staying with friends and he's probably okay, but we can't take that risk with somebody that age because there are too many dangers out there in the real world.
When they get there, Jackie has some news.
The neighbour across the road just called in about 10 minutes ago and said that he's seen him at South Windsor at McGrath's Hill Shops, and then he just took off, put his jacket over his head and ran.
And did he have his bike with him?
No, there was another boy with him that was on his push bike.
The question that's concerning Adam is why Dean ran off in the first place.
Is there anything that's happened like within Dean's life the last little while?
Only a young girl that's come into his life.
And this is Jessica, Dean's 12-year-old girlfriend.
Everything has just flared up and gone out of control, and he's just, yeah, gone off the rails, so to speak.
Back at the police mapping unit, Steve needs to confirm Grant's location before Grant disappears again.
Claremont.
Okay.
It's still in that same vicinity.
Straight there?
Yeah.
When he was actually talking to his daughter on the phone, he said that he's actually up there mustering, and that area, it's just had a big cattle muster, which actually went right out and up to around the Nebo area through a lot of those towns. So it's sort of all coming together. All coming together.
Steve's next step is to notify police in the Claremont area that his missing person is up there.
The main thing is the family's heard from him and they know he's okay.
Knowing he's okay is one thing, but getting him home is what Tracy wants most of all.
Grant, if you're listening, just come home. Whatever's wrong can be fixed up. So please, just come home as soon as, okay? That's it.
In Queensland, while divers make one last sweep for Kerry Mackay's remains, Jim is back in Brisbane meeting her sister, Leslie. Leslie has flown in to take possession of Kerry's belongings.
You ever seen this car before?
Yeah, full of plastic on the outside. What's up on the water? To be honest, you could tell a few stories of the car, couldn't she?
Yeah, you can see how far, that's where she's had the windows wound down.
But unfortunately, after forensics went over the car, they found nothing.
OK, so that's it.
Nothing, that is, until police found these 3 teddy bears sitting on the back seat. And the secrets they've held safe for 4 years will amaze even Leslie. Meanwhile, at 13-year-old Dean Duddick's home, his mum is telling Adam about the last moments she saw her son.
My husband was talking to him as to why, you know, his behaviour is like this, and then he just went to bed. I spoke to him on the Friday morning and he seemed fine.
Have you got the note that he left?
I certainly do.
Just before he vanished, Dean wrote this note to his devastated mother.
He's crossed something out here.
Yeah, it looks like something ring. That looks like ring to me. Probably don't try and ring because his phone's been turned off the whole time.
Dean says he's not with girlfriend Jessica, but Jackie isn't so sure.
I stopped her from coming here and I stopped Dean from going there. And since I did that, that's when it all started to fall apart.
His brother reckons he might be staying with a mate.
Has he been friends with Ben for a while, or?
Yeah, since school, pretty much.
Oh, OK.
Yeah. All right, lovely.
OK.
All right,
Thanks very much.
Thanks. Thank you.
Adam can tell from the tone of Dean's note that he's in real trouble.
We've now got a recent sighting about half an hour ago So that was our McGrath's Hill Shopping Centre. So we're going to go down there and check out the address. Plus, we've got a bunch of other addresses to go to, so let's get going.
Back in Queensland, in the case of Kerry Mackay, police are about to reveal what they found hidden inside Kerry's teddy bears 4 years after she vanished.
And here's all the jewels that were found in the back of the teddy bears.
Tens of thousands of dollars worth of jewellery, untouched, on the back seat of Kerry's car for all those years.
And where did Kerry get those stones from?
From my grandfather.
From your grandfather?
And after he passed away and my grandmother passed away, Mum had them, and then when Mum died, Kerry and I got half of the collection each then. She's worried someone would steal them.
Which is probably why Kerry hid the jewellery in the bears in the first place.
So did anyone else other than you and your sister know about these stones?
Yeah, quite a few.
Did she carry the stones around with her very often?
I don't know where she kept them.
For Leslie,
that's quite a good find, isn't it?
This jewellery
Mum's engagement ring.
and the teddies are a sad reminder of happier times.
They're nice little teddies.
They are. My granddaughters are like them, but
And they would,
they are nice little teddies.
but they want their Aunt Kerry back a lot more.
Well, Kerry, if you're out there somewhere, can you give someone a ring or give me a ring or the police and let us know that you're alive and happy? And it'd be great if you are doing that, have found a life for yourself. Because if we get hold of you, we'll probably wring your neck, but then we'll give you a big hug.
Meanwhile, on the hunt for 13-year-old Dean Duddick, Adam is urgently following up on a recent sighting of him at the local shops.
I'm confident we'll find out where he is, but whether we can, keep him there and stop him from getting away at the time, because he's obviously got some sort of fear that he's in trouble with the police, but he's not.
And as soon as they get to the shops, they run smack bang into Dean's 12-year-old girlfriend, Jessica.
A police guy rang me this morning. Adam Marsh or something.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, you rang me?
You his girlfriend, are you?
Yeah.
Ah.
I have no idea where he is.
What sort of mood was he in this morning?
Sad,
Sad. How do you know that?
because he was kind of crying. Not crying, but like his eyes were watering up.
Did he say what his plans are, what he's going to do? Or
He said he really didn't want to go home.
do you know why? Did he tell you why?
No, he just said, I'm not going home.
Did he say where he was going today, or
No, he wouldn't tell me because he knew I'd tell.
you guys better head back to school, all right? See you later.
Jessica hasn't seen Dean, but maybe these guys have.
Do you either know Ben or Dean Duddick?
Yeah, I know.
You know him, do you?
Yeah, Ben, though, I'm pretty sure he's still living at that house there.
And Adam's hunch is spot on. Dean's best mate lives just across the road. And as Adam and Mark head off to Ben's, at home, Dean's mum has reached breaking point.
Dean, if you're watching, mate, just come home, please. That's all I want.
If their informant is right, police will find Dean Duddick in this house. Back in Sydney, the search for Dean Duddick has moved to this house.
Ben?
Adams had a tip-off that Dean's been hiding out here with his mate Ben.
You Ben?
Yeah, I got that.
Deanie?
Yeah.
After 3 days, police have finally found Dean Duddick.
Been looking for you all morning. My name's Adam Marsh.
Yep.
Nice to meet you, mate. All right if we come in?
Yeah.
Dean's been moving around, sleeping at his mates' homes.
Well, this is the situation. You either got to come home with us and we can talk to you on your own or with your mum.
I don't want to go home.
Okay. Is there anything you want to discuss about why you don't want to go home?
Not really.
Who's the problem with at home?
Everyone, really.
Whatever the issue is, it can be talked out, mate. Do you want to speak to your mum about it, or would you rather speak to a counsellor about it, or do you want to speak to us about it?
Counsellor?
A counsellor? Yep, no worries, mate. All right. Just take a seat and we'll get you a number, all right?
But there's more to this case than a teenage runaway. There's obviously something else going on.
Has this only been a recent thing? You haven't had problems at home in the past? You have? All right.
Is there anybody there you can talk to? Mate, that makes it hard to start with, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We've got a duty of care because of your age. We can't just leave you somewhere. think we're responsible for you, then you don't look real good at the moment.
He's just 13, so he has to go home. But if he's to stay put, Adam will need to find out what's going on. Meanwhile, at Brisbane's Missing Persons Unit, Jim is already planning the next stage of his investigation into the disappearance of Kerry Mackay.
First of all, I'll wait for the bone fragment that we found in the dam search to see if that's human. If it is human, well, we'll conduct further tests on it. If it's not human, well, it rules out, obviously, that it's not skeletal remains of Kerry.
The recent discovery of Kerry's car is his best lead yet.
We have got an idea now of where she last was. Previous to this, all we knew was she was on a road somewhere between two places. And by finding a car, even though it's a long, long way out of where she was intending to go, it at least gives us some area where we can concentrate a search, and that's what we intend to do with the land search in the future.
And that's exactly what Jim's planning for next week. He's calling in dozens of volunteers to sweep the forest where Kerry's car was found. Back on the case of Dean Duddick.
Hello, is this Mrs. Duddick?
Yes, it is.
Adam is calling Dean's mum to tell her the good news.
Found him. We're currently at Windsor Police Station, and we were just wondering if you could meet us down here because there's some other matters we need to speak to you about.
Mother and son are reuniting at the local station because police want to talk to Jackie about what's been troubling Dean.
He's quite upset at the moment. I think he'd probably be glad to see his mum. Won't be too long, right?
A few minutes later, Jackie arrives.
I'll be out, mate.
But it's an awkward moment for mother and son.
Are you ready to come home? Why? Can you give me a hug? That's all my life is my family, keeping my family together and being happy. And until all this issue, well, we've always been close.
Something has driven this family apart. And now Adam and Mark will put in the extra effort to work things out. Meanwhile, great news in the hunt for missing dad, Grant Andrews.
After getting the good news that Grant's actually returned home, we're going to go up and talk to hopefully Grant and Tracy and just see what he wants to tell us where he's been. Good morning, Tracy. How are you?
How are you?
After an exhaustive search that's lasted 4 months, Steve is about to come face to face with Tracy's wayward husband.
Grant, Steve McAllister and Mandy Gar from Missing Persons Unit. Now, Tracy, it's good to have him home, is it?
Yes.
After all this time?
Yes.
Yes, it's nice to see you there instead of on Steve's folder.
And how do you feel about being back home, mate?
Oh, it's good to be home.
Good to be home?
He hasn't said a lot to me at all. First day he come home, he was very uncomfortable. You could see he was very uncomfortable. He just didn't feel himself, like he was edgy. But, yeah, but he's getting there. He's getting better, yeah.
One day you might want to tell us what's happened?
Yeah.
But I know you want to just keep it quiet and have family time at the moment, mate, so we respect that.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
I'd like to thank you for all your help.
No, that's no worries. Okay. Right here. Okay, we'll be off then. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you're all right. Thank you, Steve.
No worries, Tracy. Take care.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great result. He's in one piece. We'll just let the family get on with their lives now, and it's just really good. After 4 months' hard work, it's all finished.
Hello, how are you?
And in Sydney, there's another terrific result. Missing grandmother Nancy Teo has been found.
Nice to see you again.
Nancy was found wandering around an industrial estate 15 kilometres from her home, and the 66-year-old walked all that way.
We got a call. It's from DY police station. They found her.
Great news.
Yeah, it is.
Incredibly, Nancy has survived 32 hours without food or water.
You know, I just keep going. Then I look at her, I said, why is nobody around? But I was afraid that then later on, my thought is, I must come back. And that's what happened.
And that's the problem with dementia.
I don't know.
There's often no way back.
Okay, that's all right.
Police have an initiative that helps. It's called the Safely Home program.
And what they'll send you is a nice bracelet. So if you go anywhere, they'll be able to work out your home address and who to call to make sure that you're okay. I think that's the most important thing.
But just as important for people with dementia is the support of a loved one. And Nancy has plenty of that.
Very nice to go home, actually.
Every year, over 30,000 people go missing. Have you seen 39-year-old Kathleen Farrell, who disappeared from the Gold Coast in 1992? Or 36-year-old Jason Lawson, last seen in Baldivis, Western Australia in 2003. And 51-year-old Elizabeth Barlow, missing from Redfern, New South Wales in 1995. If you have any information, please call 1800 333 000.